So, you know, there's nothing to do. They don't have any works. They don't have to be moral. I mean, they are, but you know, there's no sense of morality, good and bad, because the only thing you've got is this tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's man being good on his own. And good and evil is one word. It's a hendiades in the Hebrew and the Greek. Where if it's good, it's evil. It's two sides of the same coin. That they weren't allowed to touch. Well, not touch, but they weren't allowed to eat. Okay? But this tension's going on and on and on and on and on and on. Because you got big God and little Adam and, you know, little Isha at the time. And of course, Satan's like insinuating himself through that cute little pet that she had, whatever kind of four-legged reptile it was. And he's not going to show off, you know, his full beauty. He's going to make himself seem small, so he's more endearing. Okay? But she knows he's talking because four-legged reptiles don't talk. Okay, so she knows it's him, and Adam lets it go on. And, you know, after a while, you see this in Genesis 3, he's always, well, what about all those trees in the garden? Yada, yada, yada. Okay, finally she gives in. So now Adam has to choose between her and God. It's no contest. He eats the fruit too, so-called magic fruit to make you as good as God. What a crock. And that's where we are. That's where we come in. In order to perpetuate life at that point, there has to be a biological fetus that exits the womb, just like Adam was created out of the, you know, the earth. And then God, just like he did to Adam, breathes life into the nostrils at birth and gives you your first breath. Okay, but unlike Adam, we're born with a sin nature. And unlike Adam was at the beginning, we're born disconnected with God. Adam lost the connection through sin, as of course did the woman. Okay, so now the trial is, do you as a sinful person, sinful meaning your nature, you have this Energizer bunny that's always wanting to go off in the wrong direction, okay, and you can say no to it, but you're not going to always say no anymore, okay, it's too much pressure, alright. Are you going to nonetheless choose to believe in Christ at some point in your life? That's the first trial. And then after you have done that, are you going to keep believing in God and grow up spiritually? Because, and here's how we know, Christ became, without sinning, Christ became the way, the truth, and the life. Alright, so that was the same contract as for the angels, to get the truth built in him, so he could be closer and closer to Father in his humanity. Okay? But the second thing is, we too get that. And that's what the book of Hebrews is about. He was built into the truth. We, as believers, once you're saved, have a spiritual life. Okay, Adam lost it, we get it back by believing in Christ. At that point, we're right where the angels were before they sinned. Okay? We can get the knowledge and the relationship and the growing of the rapport. And the goal is in Ephesians 4:13, which the book of Hebrews is centered on. Growing and maturing in Christ means learning Bible, learning and living on Bible, because that's what he did, Matthew 4:4. So it's the same trial for us as it was for the angels, except that we're smaller and we're sinners and we had to be saved first. And here's the third place it's different. It's not like Israel's job was to learn the Old Testament. He hadn't come yet. We have to learn his thinking as a completed and successful king, because he won at the cross. Church is after the cross. Church started, as you know, on Pentecost 30 AD. Alright? So that is our trial. And we got to get to the Ephesians 4:13 standard of maturity of Christ. KJV translates that very well. Some of the other Bibles don't. That's where we got to go. So that means Bible, 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 line on line, precept on precept, axons and dendrites, spiritual axons, spiritual dendrites building in your soul. Connections between your human spirit and your human soul, like a CPU. Okay? That's your real life. You could be a paraplegic. You could be sitting in a hospital bed for the rest of your life, and you could be building as a witness in this trial toward God, even if you couldn't speak out loud to another human being. Even if you were deaf, even if you were mute, even if you were paralyzed. That's the real work of God, obviously. That's what Ephesians 2:10 is all about. And that's what the book of Hebrews is all about. So I hope I set up the stage now where you got a better understanding of what this trial is. It's about closing the dichotomy between infinity and infinity, which only God can do. And He offers to do it, but it's going to hurt because it goes against your nature, because He's making you bigger than you are, just like He did to Christ. And do you want that? And how much? And are you going to get to the level of His maturity? And if you do, you have to be a king. You have to be crowned. There are lots of other rewards the Bible talks about, but this is the most important one. That's what Paul's talking about. What is it? 2 Timothy 4:7 and 8. There's a crown that has been laid up for you since eternity past. Okay? And it's just a question of whether you're going to forfeit it. It's like the Lord said in Revelation, don't lose your crown. Yeah. And the more you have, more you have of rewards, especially the crown, because that means you inherit the kingdom. That's what Paul's talking about in Galatians. Inheriting the kingdom rather than just being in it. Then you have more to glorify God with. And your attitude, like I said in the last video, is going to be like those angels in Revelation 4. You're going to want to throw your crown down. You're going to want to, it's throw down love. God's all about throw down love. You're going to throw yourself down for God. And you're going to want to throw yourself down for your people in your kingdom. Okay? And everything you got right now is practice. It's all paradigmal of that kingdom. So you throw yourself away on everything you got in your life now, trying to live out the Bible on it, and then you see then it's not so small anymore. And that's what the conflict is about. Do you want God enough for Him to grow you so you live like that? If the answer is yes, you honor Him by becoming a king. And then all those other Christians who didn't care about learning Bible and living on it, they're going to be your subjects. You're going to own them. And they're going to be glad of it, and so will you. And then you'll be spending all eternity throwing yourself away on them in order to throw yourself away on Christ. So, preview of coming attractions. Hopefully the next video will be about Book of Hebrews. I'm going to start getting into the actual story. We're going to go through it in translation mostly, but I'm also going to have to cover some exegetical stuff. Ta-ta.